Screen. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Trail Talk. I'm Edie.
I'm Mary.
And we are coming to you live from our classroom studio at the Chisholm Trail Heritage Center in Duncan, Oklahoma. Now, before we get into the riveting lesson today, we've entitled Trees of Oklahoma, Volume 1. I'm going to let you know that immediately following the lesson, we will be having our drawing for the Skip Rowell knife.
I know you guys have been waiting for it, and we are going to draw our winner live after we finish our lesson.
Yes, we are. In fact, we had two lucky visitors who were able to put their names in the drawing just before we started, and they were from, did they say Wyoming?
I'm not sure where they're from.
I think they're from Wyoming. So, who knows
where we'll send this knife.
Right.
Or give
where the lucky winner will be from. So anyway, we'll just go ahead and get right on the lesson. And let's go to our first tree.
The bald cypress.
The bald cypress. Kevin, this is for you. Y'all know my husband. He shaves his head. He's bald.
Ode to Kevin here.
Ode to Kevin, yeah. Anyway, bald cypress are actually native to Oklahoma. Mm-hmm. Now, they're actually the state tree of Louisiana. Their area of growth is
it's widespread.
Yeah, very widespread. But they are, you guys have probably seen them around town. Now, in Louisiana, they grow
in the swampland.
In the swamps.
Like the wetter regions.
Yeah, and I've seen a lot of them along waterways and stuff in states like Louisiana, Mississippi, down there.
Coastal area.
Yeah, and they look really pretty too in the water because they're not like a dark green. I think this picture is a little deceiving on how dark they are because I always think of them as a pale
more
green than needles. But you can see they have these needles. It looks like a palm frond right there, but they really hang down, and then they turn this bronze color, and then poof, they're gone.
Just like
that. They just drop all of those bronze colored needles, but they also have these funny little balls that these little pod things that hang from the branches. And so they're kind of an interesting looking tree.
Kind of a seed.
Yeah, I think it might be maybe? Kind of a I know it has some whatever's inside it, some wildlife, I think, enjoy those. But they can reach 100 to 150 feet in height.
That's pretty tall.
It is. There's one on the corner of the street where I live, and it is a really tall tree. And honestly, I don't know if I had ever really noticed a bald cypress before I saw that one, because the first time it turned brown and the needles fell off, I thought it had died.
A lot of trees around in our area look that way though. In the wintertime you drive through here and a lot of the trees, they look dead, but they come back.
But they do. Well, the bald cypress, even though it looks like an evergreen, it's covered in needles.
Right.
It is not. These are deciduous. That means that they drop their leaves, or in this case, their needles every year.
Right.
So anyway.
It's a pyramidal conifer, am I saying that?
And so that means like these are the seeds, right? Yes, like you were saying, like a pine cone would have it. So
it's from that.
And yeah, you can see that they kind of grow up to a point, but they grow fairly fast. They can get 40 to 50 feet tall in about 15 to 25 years. So I mean, that's pretty tall
for, that sounds like a long time, 15 to 25 years, but in tree terms, I guess that's pretty fast.
Right, yeah. especially if they can reach 100 to 150 feet. That means some of those trees are really old.
Yeah.
They must be a long living tree. So the ones that grow around here, I mean, they like the well-drained soil, but I guess they adapt. Maybe that's like an adaptation that these bald cypress have, that they're able to grow underwater. Their roots, if they're growing in a watery area, their roots grow down and then they get these knobs on them they call knees. And the knees will grow up above the water level, and that's where they're able to get more oxygen. Or I guess carbon dioxide is what isn't that what plants kind of inhale? We exhale that, and plants do the opposite. Right. Yeah. So anyway, the bald cypress, it's a tree that's native to Oklahoma. And this is your #1 tree that we're going to learn about today. So next time you see one, you'll know. Remember, and if you see it with all the brown needles on it, it didn't die. That's its life cycle.
Don't chop it down or say it's gone for it. It's come back.
It's going to come back. Okay. The next one we're going to talk about, this tree is a very common tree around here, the American elm tree.
The survivor.
Yes, the survivor tree in Oklahoma City. At the
bombing site.
The bombing site where the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building was, and now the Oklahoma City National Memorial.
That tree survived.
This tree survived. I read where there are photographs from the 1920s.
And that was in someone's backyard.
Yeah, that show this tree. So we know for sure it's 100 years old, at least.
Yeah,
100.
easily.
Right. And anyway, so this tree survived all of the explosion and aftermath of that bombing that day. Let's see, and that happened in 1995. But the American elm tree, I mean, if you take a look at these leaves, you've seen these, and especially in the fall, they turn that golden yellow. They're very, very pretty trees in the fall. They are can attain a height and a width, a spread of 100 feet.
So it's pretty widespread and tall.
Yeah. Actually, my neighbors across the street have a huge elm tree in their front yard, and so
you get.
I have a lot of these leaves in front of my house, a lot, because the wind likes to carry them over there. But this tree is generally around 40 feet high, 40 feet wide. Yeah. They are susceptible, this American elm is susceptible to Dutch elm disease. And that they're more like on the eastern part of the United States. So going west, that disease is less widespread. And that's the reason people believe, just kind of from a historical
standpoint,
that's why people believe that this tree has been able to survive so long, because that Dutch elm disease is not so common here in the western part. And for some reason, the farther west you go, the more the trees are resistant to that disease. So that allows them to live longer. So this tree, the American elm, will go really fast whenever it's young and can reach 80 to 100 feet high, 60 to 120 feet wide. Trunks on the older trees can be 7 feet across.
That is taller. I mean, that
is enormous, enormous. So, you know, if you have a really big trunk
7-foot
tree,
yeah, that's pretty old.
Yeah, and you probably have an ancient elm at your house.
Exactly.
So the leaves can be like 6 inches long. So they're a big leaf, and they're deciduous as well. They drop off, but I mean, you guys, you've all seen this, where these beautiful green leaves turn that beautiful shade of yellow, and then they're gone, and then the bark is really dark, almost black looking to me. And I always call those the tree skeletons when the leaves are gone. Yeah, they leave a very interesting and pretty, just the tree skeleton as well. They have these little kind of flower things that come out. Yeah.
The shallow root system.
Right. Yes, a shallow root system. So that's interesting to me that this tree in particular survived that blast because the root system is shallow.
You would think it'd be the opposite. It would be really deep, withstanding in order to hold and withstand that force.
Exactly. But part of the reason that it's so shallow, the root system, is because they grow so fast above.
They don't have time to get deep roots.
Right. But they are 15 years old before they bear seed.
That's all.
So you're not just gonna have little ones popping up all around unless you have an older tree around someplace. But when they do make seeds, they make a lot of them. And so that can be kind of messy. Yeah. All right, so the American elm, one of a very common tree we have here in Oklahoma, and salute to the survivor tree. Okay, next we're going to talk about the Shumard oak. I picked this one because I love
very familiar leaves.
Yes, I love oak leaves and I love acorns. I think they're just both. I mean, doesn't it look like just a little with a little beret? It looks like a little seed with a beret on.
It kind of looks like Smokey the Bear.
I mean, he's so fancy. He's wearing a beret. Yeah, a little Smokey the Bear. That's true. But these Shumard oak, they turn brilliant red.
Beautiful color
in the fall. They are 40 to 60 feet in height, 40 to 60 feet wide, and they grow 1 to 2 feet a year. So that seems like not so fast. No. You know, that seems like a slower growing kind of tree. But they like full sun, and they get it around here, right? Yeah. I mean, you know, we don't have forests. We're in the plains. So
flat plains.
Right. And so the tree, having a forest that, you know, a lot of trees to kind of squeeze out the sunlight, that's not going to happen around here. And so there are a lot of oak stands around, you know, places with a lot of oak trees. There are a number of varieties of oak trees. We're just talking about this one today.
Right, the Shumard oak.
Yeah.
They transplant easily.
Yes. Yeah. And they produce brown and greenish catkins. And that is a cylindrical flower that does not have a petal on it. So you've seen them hanging from these trees. It's just kind of a finger-like thing that has little yellow, tiny little knobs. But when they said it was a flower with no petals, it looks like the center of a flower.
Just the
part where the bees would pollinate, those little bump thingies that I'm
sorry. We're very technical. Bump thingies.
I'm at a loss for words today. Anyway, so that is the kind of flower that they produce. And they make 1-inch acorns.
Little bitty ones.
Which I find all over my yard where the squirrels.
If you step on them barefoot.
Yes, and the squirrels,
the deer like them.
They hide them everywhere. I've dug up things in my yard to plant a flower, and there's an acorn under there.
I know. I have a friend that she said she pulled up at least 80 the other day because they have a squirrel, and she kept finding all these trees that were popping up in her yard. Well, it was a squirrel that had gone around and hidden them all in her yard.
And they germinated, and there you go.
Yes.
Yeah. So thank you, little squirrels, for planting trees for us everywhere.
That's right.
And so but the acorns are only produced every 2 to 4 years.
Not every year.
So how does a squirrel know?
That's why they hide them, I guess.
Right. You know, I mean, think about that hopefully you have trees that are on the off years.
Right.
Yeah. And
every year there's at least one that their watering hole they can go to.
Right. Yeah. And find some acorns. I thought acorns were produced every single year on
each tree.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't know that. So, and these small acorns are favorites for deer as well as squirrels. So you all know if you live out in the country and you've got some oak trees around, there are going to be deer around too. They like to
come and eat on those.
Crunch on those acorns. Yeah. And this was my favorite part. This tree was introduced in Oklahoma, so it's not native. It was introduced in Oklahoma in 1907, the year we became a state.
There you go.
Yeah, so it's been here for that long. So I thought that was kind of a cool.
Since the beginning.
Since the beginning, that's right. That's right. Okay, and our last tree that we're going to talk to you about today is our state tree, the redbud, which you know,
a purple color too.
It does, but some of them I think look purpley like this. I have seen some that are that color, but then again,
more magenta color, pinkish.
Yeah,
kind of like a Japanese cherry blossom color to me.
True, that's true. But don't you love the way the little flowers just pop right out of the branches? They don't, you know, come out on the end of a little stem or anything.
They're just right there.
They're just right there, and that is so cool. So the person who wrote this article that I used for part of the research says most people never forget the first time they see a redbud tree in full bloom. But if you're from Oklahoma, you probably don't have that first time experience in your memory like that because
they're everywhere.
We have the joy, the blessing of seeing redbud trees in bloom every single spring. And I love them so much. I cannot wait until the trees start blooming. And then I just go around town. And when the kids were little, we would say, oh, the prettiest tree in Duncan. Oh, the prettiest tree. I mean, we would pick out these beautiful redbud trees that had bloomed. But they, you know, they don't just make these beautiful flowers. Their leaves come out and they're heart-shaped. See the little heart-shaped leaf like this? They turn brown. They have these little seed pods that hang off the branches. I mean, they're just a work of art, and it just changes the whole year round. And then after the little seed pods, which kind of hang on for a while, you'll get down to the skeleton of the tree, and then boom, here come the flowers again. They start in early spring and can last for 2 to 3 weeks, which is another part of.
Yeah, it's just short-lived.
Yeah. So the trees, the trunks don't just like typically grow straight up with one.
No,
tall.
there's several.
They'll split
there
off.
you go.
Yeah,
you can see there's multiple trunks.
It kind of reminds you of a crepe myrtle. A little bit.
Kind of sprouts.
Yeah, it probably grows together a little bit higher than a crepe myrtle does, but yeah, it splits off. But it does that. I don't necessarily see these breaking off like the Bradford pear trees.
Right. No, these are more.
They're a stronger.
Stronger branch.
Yeah, but they're not huge. They're
thinner.
Yeah, this is not a climbing tree.
No. It almost is bush-like.
Right, that's true.
It's more like, or I think of it more bush-like.
Yeah,
rather than a tree.
Yeah, that is true. It's actually called the Eastern redbud. It is our state tree. It is native to Oklahoma, but this species or variety, I guess, the variety of redbuds. This is known as the Eastern redbud, and it extends as far west as Oklahoma and Texas. So we're like on the far west side of where it will grow, but it'll grow all the way north up to Canada. So, and they can get 20 to 30 feet tall, which seems very tall to me.
I don't know if I've ever seen one that big.
Yeah, although my mom and dad have a creek on their property, and redbuds grow in that creek. And so there are some down in there that have gotten pretty big, but they like full sunlight, again, to shade, good place to be. And they grow about 1 to 2 feet a year. So, you're going to have, but they start blooming like
right off. As it gets warm, it seems like.
No matter how tall they are. I've seen very small red buds with pretty blooms on them.
Yeah.
And they probably, one of the reasons they seem kind of healthy, I think they have well, so you don't necessarily see them planted in towns.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like Duncan's the crepe myrtle capital. We're not
Right.
the redbud capital,
No.
you know, we're the crepe myrtle capital. And you see crepe myrtles planted along roads and stuff, but redbuds, they're not super resistant to disease. And so
Very
they kind
sensitive.
of, yeah, and so they kind of have a shorter life span. Now, there have been some that they found that are as old as 30 years old, but you know, in a
more.
tree life, that's
really
probably,
nothing.
yeah, that's probably not all that long.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, that concludes our
Tree talk or tree trail talk.
Yeah, it's easy for you to say, Mary.
It wasn't.
So we're going to do something that we've been promising that we're going to do for a few weeks now. And we are going to have our drawing for the Skip Rowell knife, the beautiful handmade. It's probably still in the case. Yeah, we had it locked down in a case. So if you're the lucky winner, it's in good hands.
I am mixing it.
We don't have a roller.
No.
So anyways, this knife was the handle is hand carved. It has
It's
scrimshaw.
ivory, isn't it? Is it ivory?
It might be. It has scrimshaw, I believe. It has, oh, here we go. We're bringing the whole case.
If in doubt, bring it all.
Just to show you
how it's been protected and
yes,
cared for.
Exactly. Okay, no, it's not scrimshaw. It's a carved. It has acorns on one side. The other side has the
oak leaves.
The oak leaves, probably a Shumard oak, like we learned about today. It's a forged steel blade that Skip also has put his name on. He handmade the leather sheath for it, and it's also decorated with the oak leaves and acorns. And so we are about to draw. I'm going to turn my head away and pick this one right here.
The winner is
Peggy Roberts, 308 North I here in Duncan. And Peggy, we have your phone number. Yeah, local
Roberts.
winner. Congratulations,
you are
Peggy.
a winner.
I'm gonna I don't know if we can. Oh yeah, I'll put my finger across there. Can you zoom in on it? Can we get it on there? I'm pretty sure it says Roberts. Is it zooming on me? Is it okay?
There we go.
Oh,
so if you recognize that handwriting,
yep. But Peggy will be giving you a call. I know for sure the first name says Peggy.
Yep.
I could read
congratulations.
that. Yeah, we're so excited. This knife is yours. Some lucky person in your life is going to have a beautiful collector's item.
That's right.
So we thank Skip Rowell for being he's still here for a couple more weeks, guys. He's our featured artist. I guess 2 weeks from today, the 30th of June, is the last day for his exhibit to be here. Starting July 1st, Joe Don Braves artwork will be in our featured artist gallery. But you still have time to come by and see some of Skip's work. So
there's
please
a lot
do
more
that.
for sale.
Yeah,
you guys could buy your own.
This is true.
There's a lot more knives in there.
There are, and they're all original. I mean, no two of them are exactly alike. So let's go on to our last screen here. We are put Peggy's ticket right there. Tomorrow we are going to have a very fun visit from the Stevens County Humane Society.
Animals.
Yes, we're going to have
like our animals.
We're going to have some kitties, and hopefully they'll bring a couple of puppies with them.
Puppy breath.
I know. I love it so much. So tune in tomorrow and let's get some insight on the Stevens County Humane Society and all the great things they do for this area. Yeah, it's good. We love Humane Society. So that's all for today. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Happy
Happy trails.